Hi everyone, my name is Lucky Bell and I'm a composer in Los Angeles, California. Now I'm starting this YouTube channel in hopes that I can share with you the things that I've learned over the years. And hopefully two things will happen. One, you'll find these videos useful for your music career. And two, you won't have to struggle through the same amount of time that it took me to learn these very things. Now I'd like to start with a relatively simple concept today, which is placing chord melody under a simple existing melody. Now this is extremely helpful when you're looking to make your melodic content more dense, or if you're trying to make an instrumental version of a song slightly more complicated so that it will set you apart from other people online. Last week was Halloween, so I think it's fitting that we do a simple yet iconic Halloween piece, the Addams Family Theme Song. Now, if you like this video, let me know in the comments. If you do the same thing but in a different way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know. Or if you have any ideas about a concept for music composition that you'd like me to talk about in the future, also let me know. Let's begin. One for me, if it's not an original song or I don't want to test my ear training chops, is to find and purchase a simple version of the song online, usually in an easy piano format. In this case, the Addams Family theme costed $1.99 as a digital download on sheetmusicplus.com, so I just purchased it. I immediately downloaded it and began step 2, which is to make a reference chart of all of the chords in the song. Now our theme today may only have 6 chords, but they're not your typical pop chords. We have B flat major, which has a B flat, a D, and an F. We have a B diminished 7, which has a B natural, a D, an F, and a G sharp. We have a C minor 7, which has a C, an E flat, a G, and a B flat. We have an E dominant 7, which has an E, a G sharp, a B natural, and of course a D. We have an F dominant 7, which has an F, an A C, and an E flat. And we have an E diminished 7, which has an E natural, a G, a B flat, and a D flat. Now normally I just write these down on staff paper, but for your benefit I've listed them in a notation program called Sibelius. Now that we know what chords we'll be using, let's move on to step 3, which involves becoming more familiar with the melody enough to know where we can beef it up with chords. Now for this version, and most others honestly, it specifies that no chords are to be played during the intro. Okay, so let's take a listen to this and see why that is. Okay, that makes sense. This is the most memorable part of the song, and it doesn't really need to be made more complex. So we'll move on to the part of the melody that is normally sung. It's located here on the and of the 8th measure. Let's take a listen. So this is it. We can do some pretty cool things with this melody. Let's move on to step 4, which is adding the chords. Now this is a difficult thing to do, mostly because there are many ways that we can add chords to this melody. For sake of time though, I'm going to show you the most common way, which is closed voicings. In this method, we pay strict attention to what note is in the melody, and we create a voicing from the top down, never allowing our chord to be above the melody. I'll do the first few with you so that you get the hang of it. Now if we zoom in on this B flat major chord, we see that that note in the melody is a B flat. Now normally we would stack our chord in thirds above that note because it's the root. So we would do B flat, D, and then F. Now you have to realize that, we're trying to keep that melody as our top and leading note. So what we're going to do is we're going to add those two notes, but we're just going to move them down an octave. So that makes the B flat on the top, the F in the middle, and the D in the bass. Now we go to the next note here and we see that it's the D in this melody. Now that means we have to make the D the top note of the chord that we're going to use. Okay? So normally that would be, of course, an F on the top and a B flat below it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab that F and we're going to put that one down an octave, right? So now our B flat and then our D, and then of course B flat, which will be the same two notes here, right there, becomes part of the melody, but it also includes the other notes of the chord. Now I will say this before we move on to this C minor 7 chord. This B diminished 7 is a little weird just because, as we said before, the actual note in that chord, which is a double flat 7, is a G sharp. And in the melody we see it's a G here. Now to make things go a little bit quicker, what we can actually do is just duplicate that G and then put it down an octave. Now this is a pretty fast melody anyways, just because we have some dotted eighths and some sixteenths. So making it an octave in that one note instead of filling out the entire chord is actually going to be pretty good. So let's go over this C minor 7, and then we'll come back after I've filled out all of the chords in this same way. Now the C minor 7, and this is just to solidify the process of what we're doing. This note is an E flat, okay? So we need a G and a B flat, and of course the tonic, which is that C. Now the E flat, again, is our melody note, so we're just going to move our other notes down an octave, and we now have our voicing. So I'll be right back, of course, and we'll have all of this filled out for you. Alright, so I filled in the remaining chords in the same way we did the first few. It should be mentioned, though, that if you take a look at measures 12 and 16, you'll see that because the G note is not naturally a part of an F7 chord, that I substituted it with octaves. Now in a future video we can talk about how to build these chords differently, but there's just not enough time today in this video. So let's take a listen to the entire arrangement here and see what happened. Thank you so much for watching my first YouTube video. Now don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course, check out all my social media accounts. Until next time, Lucky out.